Hey Trail Travelers, it's Carrie with Trail Traveler. And today we're going to talk airing down and some tools to use to get the job done. So stay right there. We'll be right back. All right, if you are new to off-roading, you might not know about airing down your tires. And there's good reasons to do it. First, and most importantly, for traction. By airing down your tires, you're increasing the footprint of your tire. You're making that footprint longer. This is going to give you more traction. Now, over different types of terrain, rocks, slippery surfaces, snow, mud, all kinds of things, having a bigger footprint can give you better traction. On sand, it can help keep you on top of the sand versus digging into the sand. Second, when going over sharp obstacles, big rocks, a tire can deform around it and go over it. If the tire is fully aired up and it hits a sharp object and there's nowhere for that sidewall to go, you could end up with a puncture, popping a bead, and possibly even damaging a rim. So there's definitely some good reasons. Some other reasons are helping to preserve the trails. When you drive on a dirt road or something and you felt that bad washboard condition, it's caused from people driving too fast, and usually they're not aired down. And so it's creating pressure waves that actually liquefy the ground and cause these shock waves, which then harden into washboard. So having a softer ride on those trails will help prevent the washboard. Next, it provides a smoother ride. Your tires are your first barrier of shock absorption. And so by having a softer tire with more cushioning than a fully aired up hard tire, you're getting more cushion on that. So it can make a rough trail a lot easier to be on because you're getting that extra level of shock absorption because of the tire. So there's a lot of good reasons to air down. So anytime we hit a trail, we air down at the beginning and then we air back up at the end. And we'll talk about airing up in another video, but suffice it to say, you need air, whether that be a compressor or a CO2 tank. You need air at the end of the trail to air up. But today we're talking about airing down. Now, there's two fairly common ways of, well, I guess there's multiple ways of doing it. You can put a stick in it and let the air out. You can remove the valve core and kind of guess and try and put it back in before it gets too low. Or there's tools that you can use that make the job very, very simple. And I'm going to talk about two of those right here. First, we have the JT Brooks Automatic Tire Deflator Pro. This is the high-end version of this type of deflator. And we have the Jayco Rapid Deflator Pro. And so both of these are going to do the job for you on the trailhead. They both work great. I use them both all the time, and I always have both of them with me. The question may be which one is better, and we'll get to that. So, and it really comes down to personal preference sometimes. But let's take a look at the JT Brooks Automatic Tire Deflator Pros. So you get this nice little tiny bag, and inside you have the deflators. Now this simply screws on to your valve stem and air will start coming out. And when it gets to a predetermined level, it'll shut off. Pretty simple. Now, the advantage of these JT Brooks Automatic Tire Deflator Pros is that they're very easy to set the value. So right here is a gauge, and it goes from like 30, and if I crank it all the way down here, see, I think it's, well, it says 0, but really about 5 is going to be the lowest. So depending on the trail, if it's more of an easy trail and I'm just trying to cushion the ride a little bit, I may only take my tires down to 19, 20 PSI. If it's a really hard trail with lots of big rocks and I'm going to be doing a lot of rock crawling, I'm going to take that pressure down, sometimes as low as maybe even 9 PSI. Some people, I won't mention any names, Kevin Williams, he used to run the same tires I am, the 37-inch Milestar Patagonia MTs on stock rims, and he would go down to 6 PSI. To me, that's pushing it a little bit, but he did it many times. But, somewhere around 10, 12 is going to be a good number. So you can simply dial this in, lock it down, put it on your tire, and you're good to go. And you have all 4. So you put them on all 4 tires. So very easy. Another advantage of these, and most people don't do it, and I've only done it a couple times, is you may get to the beginning of a trailhead and it's not that difficult, but you want to go ahead and air down before you get to some of the rough stuff. Well, you can take all of these, put them on your tires, and take off and have it be airing down while you're driving. Now, I wouldn't do that just as I got off the freeway. I wouldn't do it until I actually got off-road and I'm only doing maybe 10, 15 miles an hour. But yes, you actually can put these on while you're rolling and have it air down and then take them off when the tire pressure gets down. So advantage, you have all 4 going at the same time. Very easy to set. It's kind of set and forget, and they'll air down to the PSI, they stop, you take them off, they're done. Super, super easy to use. Now, the other thing I like these for is when I take out other people who don't have any tools, and I can make that determination for them and help them decide what pressure to use. I can dial this in for them. They can go put them on their tires and they don't really have to think about it. So for that, really nice. Kind of, it's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, they're virtually foolproof when they're set up right. So the disadvantage is it's $99 for the set of 4. So they're a little expensive, but they work. Now, there's other ones out there on the market you can get for like $20, $30, and you can adjust the pressure on them, but there's no gauge on them. So you have to put them on the tire, let the air out until it stops, adjust it. So being able to dial in that exact pressure can take quite a while to get all 4 of them dialed in. And if you want to change the pressure, that's pretty much a no-go. It's almost easier to have 2 sets, one at 19 or 20, one at 12 or 14 for your 2 different types of conditions you normally run in, and then just put those on. It's still cheaper than buying a set of these, but these I can adjust on the trailhead within a few seconds for each one, and I'm good to go. So pros and cons for that. Now, the Jayco Tire Deflator Pro, this is a very common design that you'll see, and ARB has one, Poison Spider or Poison Frog has one. There's a bunch of them on the market just like this. And what this is you screw it onto your valve stem, and then this back piece you push in and it will unscrew. And what you're doing is you're taking out the valve core. And once you have that loose, then you pull it back, and a magnet on the end will pull that valve core out and then pull the collar back to release the air, push it forward to stop the air. Now, this is going to be much, much faster per tire than using the JT Brooks deflators. You can do a tire very, very quickly. Now, it is debatable, and I haven't actually timed it, as to whether it's faster to put all 4 of these on and have them go at the same time, or go tire by tire and do this. It's not that much of a difference, although I think in the end, this would probably win out simply because it lets a lot of air out very, very quickly. And then when you're done, you push it in, you screw the valve stem back in, unscrew it from the valve stem, and you're good to go. And it's got a built-in pressure gauge. Now, the pressure gauge isn't going to work while the air is coming out. You have to push the collar forward to stop the flow of air. You'll get the reading, and you can and get it exactly the way you want. So in terms of accuracy, this is going to be probably more accurate than the JT Brooks, because I find I can set it at like 15 and it may be 14, maybe 16. It's going to be in that neighborhood. It's going to be within a pound or two of where I want. And if I went and checked them all, if I tried to set them exactly, they're going to be slightly off, but not enough to actually worry about or to go, oh my God, that tire is so far off from the other ones. They're going to be really, really close. With the Jayco, I can get exact. So every tire can be exactly the same. Now, the other advantage of this guy is the screen is glow in the dark. So once it's been in the sunlight for a while and it gets dark, very easy to see that dial. So two different types here. Now the Jayco Rapid Deflator Pro is only $29.90. So $30 versus $100. So definitely cheaper in that regard. And I find the Jayco products, and if you've watched the channel, you know I use a number of different Jayco products. I also have their air pressure gauge, which always shows exactly what this does compared to some other brands. If I use those and then check it with the Jayco tire pressure gauge, they're going to be off a little bit. So I find the Jayco stuff in terms of the PSI reading is definitely the most accurate that I've used. Now, a couple of other little goodies that come with the Jayco. So it does come with this nice little carrying bag. And inside, we have a valve core tool. So this can be used to remove or insert valve cores. And it actually came with a bag, actually 4, now there's 3 valve cores in here. So if someone loses a valve core or it's damaged or it gets dropped or something, you have a replacement valve core right here. So for $30, the Rapid Deflator Pro, the tool, and a couple valve stem cores to keep yourself on the road and going. So now let's go out and I'll show you exactly how these work. All right, we're out here in the garage and we're going to start with the JT Brooks Tire Deflator Pros. I'm not going to air the tire all the way down. I don't need to. Just going to show you how it works. Just going to take and screw it on to the valve stem. And as soon as you do, it's going to start leaking air. And the more I turn it on or the more I screw it on, the more air that's going to come out. All right, now I've pushed the plunger in, which will stop the airflow. If I pull it out, it's going to start going. It's really that simple. Now I can just let it go until it reaches the preset PSI on the gauge, or I can stop it at any time. So if I'm watching the pressure on the dash, I can just walk around. I'm like, oh, that one's enough. Walk over, tap it, and it turns it off. Pretty simple. Pull it out, start the airflow, tap it to stop the airflow. Really simple. Or like I said, just let it run till it gets to the preset PSI. So very simple to use. Now on the Rapid Deflator, takes a little bit more work to get it set up. We're going to screw onto the valve stem. I'm right-handed, so this is kind of a little weird. Get it all tight on there. I'm going to make sure this collar is pushed in so it doesn't release any air. I'm going to push in with this back plunger, and you'll feel it connect and kind of grab onto the valve stem. And then you're just going to keep turning it. And at some point, you'll get the hang of it. You'll feel it not coming out anymore. You'll feel a little click, and you can pull that out. Now, there's no air coming out. I can look. I can see I'm at exactly 35 PSI. And when I pull the collar back, it's going to start releasing air. I push the collar in, and it stops. So this is very, very fast way of deflating the tires, and the pressure gauge is extremely accurate. So very simple, pull it out. Let the tire deflate. I mean, that was 2 pounds of pressure right there just from this one. So these are very, very fast. To undo it, push it in, and just keep turning that back plunger until it stops. Now, you do want to make sure that you go until it stops and make sure it's secure. I have done this once where I wasn't paying attention. I didn't have one seated all the way. And the very next morning when I got up, I mean, it went all day and all night. I woke up and I had a flat tire, had to cinch down that valve core and air up. Oops. And once the valve stem core is in there, unscrew it. There's a lot of screws on here. It goes on tight, and that's it. So that's the two different types of deflators. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. That's a good example of how to use these different deflators. Again, the choice is definitely up to you. In some conditions, one may be better than the other. It's hard to say, but let me give you my kind of rundown, right? During the summer, and I live here in Colorado, and during the weekends when we're wheeling, we're up in the mountains, 10, 11, 12,000 feet. During the summer, it's gorgeous. We have beautiful weather up in the mountains, 60s, 70s degrees, even 80 degrees up in the mountains during the summertime. Absolutely gorgeous. I have no problem getting out, going tire to tire, checking everything, getting it all dialed in, getting that nice fresh air, getting ready to get on the trail. However, we have some pretty darn cold winters, and it's going into wintertime here. It's the middle of October. It's the end of October. It's the 27th. We just had our first good snow. There's several inches of snow on the ground. Yesterday it was 9 degrees. So now going up into the mountains can be very, very cold. We're dealing with snow and ice and very cold temperatures, sub-freezing temperatures. Now in that case, do I want to walk around and sit at each tire for a couple minutes doing this, or do I want to run out, put these all on, hop in the cab with the engine running and the heater on, and wait for the tire pressure to go down? Really? Of course. So for those summer seasons, absolutely, I go with the Jayco all the time. Absolutely love it. And I love showing people how to use them and showing the choice between the two so that they can make the choice that's right for them. But I guarantee you, now that we're getting into wintertime, the JT Brooks are going to get used a lot more often when it's really, really cold. So I don't have to stand out there freezing, deflating each tire individually. Only takes me a few seconds to run around, put these on, wait a few minutes, get the tire pressure down, run around, take them off, hop back in the Jeep, off we go. So time and a place for each one for sure. Some people just love the convenience of these. They find them easy to use. They're fast, they work, they're reliable, they're accurate. Absolutely no problem all year round. These are fantastic. The Rapid Tire Deflator, depending on where you live, maybe this is a good all year round one. For me, like I said, out in the winter, it is what it is. But often, even though we go during the winter, sometimes I take a bunch of new people out for their first time experiences, and I need to use everything I have. In fact, I have 2 of these in the Jeep so that I can hand them out, help people, and make sure that we're all aired down as quickly as possible so that we can get on the trail and start enjoying our day. So there's your 2 choices for me. The JT Brooks Automatic Tire Deflator Pros. I don't recommend going with the cheaper ones because they don't have the gauge on there to accurately set your tire pressure from trail to trail, for condition to condition. Those, you basically set them one time and that's it. These, adjust them exactly how you want each and every time. The Jayco Rapid Deflator Pro, awesome product. Now, again, you're going to find cheaper models on Amazon of what look exactly like this, and I've tested them. The accuracy just isn't quite the same. The quality may feel the same, but they just don't seem to have the accuracy that the Jayco products have. And that's why I use Jayco products. I've never been let down, whether it be their toe straps, their ratchet straps, their deflators, their pressure gauges, any of the Jayco products. I'm a huge, huge fan. So that's going to be my recommendation for a Rapid Deflator. and JT Brooks for my automatic deflators. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope it was educational. Hope you learned something. Maybe. If you did, let me know in the comments below. If you choose one of these, let me know which one you decide to go with and why. Or if you have a different product that you use that you find to be as good or maybe better, or for whatever reason you like it better than these two products, again, let me know in the comments. I want to check it out. I want to know what other people out there are using. So thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.